Alrighty. Now we are going to do our first stretch and fold, if I can keep this thing from falling off over and still get you the view that you need. Alrighty. 1 second. I have to put my hoodie on. It's chilly out here. Okay, so this isn't difficult. I'm just going to go over here and get my hands a little bit wet. And what we're going to do here is we're going to reach under this and we're going to gently stretch. And you don't want to tear it because you're building your gluten fibers here. And then we're going to stretch again the other direction. And then we're going to come around this side and stretch. And then we're going to come around to this side and stretch. Okay. So that is good, strong dough. I am not going to have to stretch it and fold it again. So we shall put it in the pans. And I have a fairly new bread pan here and a totally ancient one. I gotta see if I can get my coconut oil spray to work for me here. Alright, so the pans are ready to go. Let me see if I can figure out how to get you a view over here. Okay. Put the pans up here. Now my counter is nice and clean. And this is such lovely dough. I don't think I'm going to have to do any flouring here. Grab my dough scraper. Oh, where did I put it? Oh, here it is up here. And so if you're going to have the sticky kind, you can just kind of go around it with your dough scraper and flip it over and flip it over and flip it over until it gets to a texture that you can use. But right now, I'm just going to divide this in half to form my two loaves. Alright, I'm going to put you over here. Don't stick to the teapot. Okay. So we're just going to stretch this out this way. And whoops, it's starting to tear. And I'm going to flip this down this way and this down this way. And I start at this end. And I am just going to roll it up like this. Can you see what I'm doing? Okay. I'm sorry this is so amateurish. I've never done this before. Well, the bread I have, but not filming it. Okay, and I'm going to press this closed. And I'm going to press this down closed. And flip those underneath there. And roll it around a little bit. And turn it over and seal up whatever might be looking like a weak seam. And roll it around a little bit more and squeeze him and poke him. Okay. And we'll just flop him in a pan. And then we'll do the same for this one. You know, and if you can't get it to cooperate as far as this part goes with stretching it to kind of form your little Y shape, just leave it rest on the counter for about 10 or 15 minutes and it will loosen up so you can work with it better. Okay. On this guy, it looks like he's going to be, whoops, bubble there. He's going to be best rolled from this direction. Now, if you wanted to roll this out and divide it up into dinner rolls or to make hamburger buns or something, you can definitely do that from here. I'm just going to be lazy today and make 2 plain loaves. Roll them around and pinch these seams together. And the reason you want your seams pinched together really good is when you proof it and it rises, and those seams will start to come apart a little bit. And then when you put it in the oven to bake, what they call oven spring, that causes it to rise up in the heat of the oven, it will go shooting up there and split your loaf, which isn't going to affect the flavor of it at all, but it will have something to say about the look of it. So there we have them in the pan. And I'm going to go over here and get some cling wrap. And I pull the cling wrap over like this. Excuse me, Kel. Lots of humidity today, so this stuff is just going to grab onto itself like crazy. All right, which side is it stuck on? Well, that isn't going to make that much difference. It's going to hang over anyway. Give it a little bit more over here to work with. Why they don't put decent cutters on these boxes anymore, I have no idea. I just trim it off with a pair of scissors. Okay. So then I'll figure out where my cling is going to hang out here. And then I just spray that side of the cling wrap. And then flip it over. Okay. And then I'm going to take my old bread towel that I've got here. It's not dirty, it's just discolored from years and years of use. And it's just a linen towel that isn't super heavy. And I will put that over the top of that there. And just wait for it to do its thing. Now, if I wanted to force it to rise quickly, I could put it in a barely warm oven or the oven with the light on. But since the switch on my oven light is broken, I can't do that anymore. So I'm in no hurry for this. I'm just going to let it take its time and do what it's going to do. And then when the dough will eventually fill the pan, and when it just barely starts to crown over the top of the pan, that's when you want to go ahead and put it in your 350 degree oven for about 35 minutes is what it works out for me. And if you've got an instant read thermometer, the way you can tell for sure that your bread is done, take that instant read thermometer and stick it down into the center of your bread from a side or something. And if it gets to If it shoots it way up quickly to like 190 and 200 and going north of that, the bread is definitely done. But your bread should be at least 190 degrees internal temperature, and you can be sure that it's not going to be doughy in the middle. Now you don't want to overcook it because then your bread is going to dry out. It'll still taste good, but the texture will start to change. I have found anywhere between 190 and 200 degrees internal temperature has been just absolutely perfect. And that's how you make your bread dough.